So I got a new toy. So this is the Lincoln Electric TIG 200 square wave. I'm not a great TIG welder. Hopefully this will help me become a great TIG welder. But from what I can tell from my couple of ugly test welds, it's a really easy to use machine, and I'm excited to add this to the shop. But the first thing we gotta do is we gotta make a home for this guy. Down here under the bench, I have the old slot where my Everlast went, rest in peace. And the new machine doesn't really fit in there, it's all lowered, and this whole assembly for both these machines is just kind of janky, and I kind of want to make it beautiful. We're going to cut this whole thing out and design a whole new system to hold these two welders. I don't have a real plan for this, so excuse my ugly drawing here. Basically what I want to have, I'm going to have each welder in its separate little port on drawer slides so I can pull them in and out. And then underneath I want to have a big drawer. The idea is that I'll keep the cables in the drawer. So I'll have a curve on the front of it and little notches that I can feed the cables through, and then the ground lugs will just come around to the back. So start cutting some material. So you can see my couple of marks on this piece of angle iron. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut these out, notch the underside, and then we'll just be able to easily bend these in place, and that'll keep us from having a big chunky ugly weld on the outside, because nobody wants a big chunky ugly weld. We're all ready to start welding, and I'm gonna try and TIG weld this whole project just to get familiar with it, maybe improve. We'll see. I haven't TIG welded in a long time, so I think I need to go brush up on some knowledge.
Aren't you supposed to be filming a YouTube video? Is that my potato salad?
I'm researching. After doing some research on how to TIG weld on YouTube, I think this is beyond me. I need a time-traveling lathe. I need to cut my fingernails way shorter. I don't know if I can do this, man. It's not the worst weld I've ever done. Yeah, that looks a little bit more how I expected these to go. Gorgeous! Look at that ugly weld. You might be saying, what happened? You were doing so mediocre before. Well, I ran out of argon. Aww. Back to MIG. So I got this thing mocked up just how it's gonna sit underneath there. Now I just gotta tack everything in place, make sure it's all square. Then I can start building the mount for the drawer on the bottom. It's looking a little bit out of square. What do we got? 27 half? 27, 37. What you say? Okay, I'm sorry. It's not really out of square. I just had to cut this at 27 and a half, and I haven't been able to get that song out of my head since then. I needed that. In order to align these, I've just clamped a plate along the bottom. Then I can take my drawer slide, butt it up against the back end here, and then get it drilled in. And they're on. Now we gotta install our drawers on here. And I don't wanna have a screw poking into here, so we're just gonna weld them. Screw it. Alrighty, they're in. They work good. Now we gotta start working on the drawer underneath. So I got my cuts marked out on this sheet. There's this ugly plasma cut edge, and anybody else would cut that off, make it square, but I'm just gonna put it on the back. Up at the front here, I'm gonna cut it extra long. One is to avoid making multiple cuts along here, but two, because I wanna bend a little radius on it. Make it look so nice. So because it doesn't actually fit within the rollers, we're just using the slip roller as kind of a press die. I can't really say I'm too happy with this radius, but you know, we'll see how it looks when it's all bent up. You know, this little bend looked great in CAD, but in real life it kind of just looks like I messed up making a box. Look at that. Now for the time we've all been dreading. Gotta cut this old thing out. So I have this thing shoved under the bench. It's gonna fit just perfect in between these two outlets. And I'm thinking, after looking at the bench with all this space, I'm gonna tuck it way back in there, which is gonna suck when I have to change the wire out on the MIG welder, but it's gonna suck less the rest of the time. You know, life is all about balancing the things that suck with the things that don't suck. In order to mount it under the bench with enough clearance, I have these legs cut at 18 inches. I guess they're not legs. What do you call these? Top legs. We'll get these welded on and then we can mount it under the bench. Alright, I got it in there. It's fairly straight. It's balanced on the jack somehow. Don't know how I got that to work. Let's weld it in place. Alright. We're ready to put the machines in. And boy, do we got a mess to pick up. Ta-da! So it's all done. I don't know if you can see here, I've gone through and cleaned up the grounding leads and just let it around to the back. This drawer holds all the torches, the foot pedal, all that nice and neat underneath the machines. Both the machines can move independently. Obviously can't pull them too far out while the torches are in there. The best part is it's all mounted. Here's the front of the bench. So I'm not jamming my knees on these anymore, which is great. Let me come join you down there. Oh, that is too close. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So it seems I've gotten quite a few more subscribers since my last video. So welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to Mr. Chappelle for sending you my way. I was hoping I could use this TIG welder a little more in this project, but ran out of argon, which sucks. But from what I could tell, it's a really good machine, man. Okay, you saw my decent-ish beads that I made on this machine. With my old machine, I could not do that. And I was dipping the tungsten constantly. I had to readjust the points for the high frequency almost every time I used it. This machine, haven't had to do that yet. So this machine's gonna get a lot of use. You'll get more of a review on it later in the future after I've used it for a while, but at first glance, this machine's awesome. Anyway, if you like what you saw here, maybe hit the old liker, maybe give me a subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching.